Hi everyone, we're going to talk about the modern day economic power dynamic between Israel and Palestine today, and how the growth of Israeli settlements has made it harder and harder for realistic peace talks in favor of a two-state solution. As the Israeli-Palestine conflict has passed its 50-year mark, with a trend that is increasingly in the favor of Israel, we have to begin examining a future where this conflict will peter off with a not-so-happy ending for Palestine. One of the major signs of Israel's dominance has been its economic expansion and growth, as thousands of immigrant settlers have been popping up in Palestinian territories. Money talks, and Israel has more of it, with the added incentive of economic growth for businesses. Here is a 2016 UN report about the impact of Israel's occupation on the Palestinian economy. The economy of the occupied Palestinian territory was a viable and thriving one before the occupation in June 1967. It generated significant production and income that sustained a growing population of 1 million people, and generated a gross domestic product of about $1,349 in 2004 prices. This was sufficient for it to be considered a lower middle income economy at the time. Tragically, it has become a land on the verge of economic and humanitarian collapse. This can be seen in tactics used by Israel, including the control of Palestinian trade, imports, and labor, with 89.3% of imports to the West Bank being from Israel by 1984, and 35 to 40% of Palestinian laborers working in Israel by the 1990s. This overall economic power dynamic has made Palestine's outlook increasingly grim, as the UN recently listed 112 companies who operate in Israeli settlements on occupied Palestinian territories. Besides building settlements, Israel has sparked controversy in violating international law, in aspects such as the demolition of Palestinian housing on the edge of East Jerusalem, and the approval of a major project in the occupied West Bank, called Sovereignty Road, which will separate Israeli and Palestinian motorists and enable the construction of settlements in a highly sensitive area. All of these advancements are aided in the fact that there has been broader Israeli support for settlements and a shift towards a conservative administration in the US. A 2019 survey conducted in Israel shows that fully or partially annexing the West Bank has gained broader acceptance on the center and left wing, which was an idea that was traditionally favored by the far right. The US's recent decision to shift its position on the legality of Israeli settlements on the West Bank under Secretary Pompeo doesn't help the Palestine position either. The general national and international trends of the Israeli-Palestine conflict and the overall time that has elapsed in trying to find a peaceful solution points to a future where a two-state or economic peace plan is no longer feasible. This also ultimately presents the international community with the question of how we should move forward, with finding a peaceful result in a conflict that is increasingly in Israel's favor.